Welcome to this week's Midweek Howl, the non-paranormal part of the From the Shadows podcast, titled tonight, Needy Dogs and Spoiled Wives.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. So why is that the title of the show tonight?
I was at a friend of mine's house that I hadn't been to his house in 6 or 7 years. And about 6 years ago, I brought my oldest boy down there. Prior to that, I hadn't been there in 10 years. Old farm down. Now, if you called Central Casting and said, we need you to find us a farm down here in the Ozarks to film something, it would be him. 350 acres down along the Osage River. Just a beautiful place, but it's a mecca for gunfire, and they never met a dog they didn't like. My buddy is 54, and he just had a stroke about a year and a half ago. He's blind in one eye now. He's living there. His mom passed away, so his dad's by himself. His dad's 85. And as I'm driving down the driveway, there's a real nice camper. Campers.
Oh, yeah.
Real nice camper, slides out, underpinned like it's going to stay there for big old long driveway. And right on the crest of this hill overlooking this big pasture on one side of the driveway and a big wood on the other side of the driveway, big mature timber. With a couple black Angus walking around out in the yard is a real nice camper, slides out with a Connex box and a tomato garden in the front, 3 or 4 raised gardens, and an American flag and a Marine Corps flag, all. And I thought, what in the hell is that? So I get down there, and as I'm sitting in the backyard with his dad, I said, what's the deal with the camper? He goes, well, that's my brother-in-law. So he means to tell me how it's his wife's brother, whose wife, they moved down from Illinois when COVID happened. And then with his poor wife within 90 days or so, buying a house, moving back home for their golden years, buying a house, she dropped dead. So he sold the house and sold everything, and he lives on the camper out there on the ranch. So imagine a 54-year-old, never been married guy, an 85-year-old widower, and a 78-year-old widower with 3 little each of them with their own little house on this big farm, okay?
Okay.
And there's these dogs. There's a couple pit bulls walking around, and an old female black lab and a couple young labs. And, of course, they gravitate toward me, a couple barn cats, a couple house cats. It's like, what's that old show? I'm waiting for the Mutual Omaha commercial. I'm waiting for.
You're Marlon Perkins?
I'm waiting for Marlon. Yeah, it's like I'm sitting out there with Marlon Perkins.
Thank God we got an older audience. They know who Marlon Perkins is.
Yeah. So anyway, I scratched every one of them dogs at least once. Well, one of them, I got this brown lab dog, probably 6-8 months old. I started scratching her. Next thing you know, she's trying to climb in my lap. And I looked at her, held her head, and I said, baby, I got 2 dogs at home. They're spoiled rotten. And I can tell you're too needy. I'll never have another dog, and I darn sure don't have another needy dog. So when I got home a while ago, my dogs were on my lap trying to smell the foreign dogs. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I got you.
And I told my wife that there was this little puppy trying to get on. I said, I had a weak spot for a second and thought about taking him home, but I said, I got too many needy dogs. And at the same time, she said, what are you going to talk about tonight? Because I told her I was doing a podcast with you in a minute. And she said, what are you going to talk about? And I looked at my little lab bear and I said, needy dogs. And I looked at my wife and I said, spoiled wives. That's what the hell I can talk about.
Well, okay. So now we've established the dog part. What happened to with the spoiled wife this weekend?
Well, how do you condense 25 years in one conversation? One succinct 30-minute podcast. As she has said how much what she done is all day. My daughter was doing something, and then my boy spent the night at a friend of his house. So I picked him up, and then we went down this farm. Anyway, I had my wife was home alone all day. watching TV, and her penance was this fold of little laundry, and she bakes some brownies, and she does all this cooking stuff because she's home alone, right?
Yeah.
She's got time. And that's what I told her. I'm always entertaining these kids or doing something, so she gets her weekends to just do whatever she wants. So that's why I said she's always a spoiled wife. And every once in a while she'll say, "Yeah, I know I'm spoiled."
Oh, well, that's good that she recognizes it, and you probably get some of the brownies, right?
Yeah, maybe that's why my stomach hurts. It's her fault. I've gained 75, 78 pounds since I got married, so it's all 100% her fault.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, speaking of getting women mad, my daughter played in the all-state band competition on Friday up at the University of Missouri Columbia. So big campus, so it'd be like being at the Ohio State, right?
Yep.
So we got to park and walk 3 or 4 blocks. You know how it is, just boom, boom, boom. We get in there and we're sitting in between the Fine Arts building and sitting in beside it, like a T intersection, and to my left, perpendicular, is a big building. The Fine Arts building is to my back. There's some other kind of Fruit Loop art building in front of me. Big old, like 40-foot cobblestone walkway. And I got a little bit I don't think I made a video. I got some pictures of it. And my son came with me. I got him out of school early. So he's big old boy sitting there, 6'4", 240, with a Dale Brisby hat on and wore out boots and crappy jeans that should have been thrown away. He looks like he got off a tractor, and he's sitting there with me. And where was I going with that? I was going to get on the Fruit Loop Fine Arts programs and the potential. I lost my train of thought. Bring me back. What were we talking about when
you were talking about making women mad.
Yeah. So as I'm walking down this 3 blocks, now I got to park, even though I get a parking permit. I signed up early, printed my parking permit, so I had a relatively close park. So I'm walking a couple, 3, 4 blocks. Here my son is. I cross the road, and there's band kids everywhere because there's hundreds of kids from dozens of schools competing, right? So part of these streets are foot traffic only. So you're getting in there, and I mean it's just a big. And there's these gals sitting on the corner, and they grab you or they stop you, and they got clipboards, and I know where this is going. Would you sign a petition? The first one says, would you sign a petition about women's reproductive rights? That's what she tells me.
Okay.
And she's probably my age. Very urbanite. She's got a younger urbanite with her. And, they just go down to Manpower or whatever, and they get these girls, pay them $9, $10 an hour to go to. You understand how it works, right?
Yeah.
Get these signatures. So I don't want to say it's kind of a scam, but it's kind of a scam because then they go to the Capitol and say, hey, we got 250,000 required signatures. You don't even know who these people are. So she said, will you sign our petition regarding women's rights, women's reproductive rights? And I said, no, they really shouldn't have any.
Oh, God.
And I said it about like that. And basically what I wanted to say is, lady, I'm fat, I'm 50, and I got 4 blocks to walk. The last thing I want to do is jack around with you. I'm trying to use what oxygen I have left to get to the freaking Fine Arts building so I can pass out and die where I'm supposed to be. And she said, excuse me, you don't think women should have reproductive rights? And now I'm walking. She's saying it to my back. I'm done left her. I'm on a different plane, right? And I had to do it. I turned around and I said, I stand corrected. They shouldn't have any rights. They ought to be. I said, look how better the world was when they were hitched to a dude that made their decisions for them.
Oh, my God.
Huh?
Oh, my God. Oh, geez.
And she took about a half a step toward me, and she started to go off on me, but she had probably, this is me being judgmental, it's somewhere down her life, her 50-year-old urban life, she stepped up to one too many dudes. Does that make sense? Because when she stepped up and said that, I could tell the way I stopped and turned, she thought, oh, shit, here I'm getting my ass handed to me again. for running my mouth. So when I seen that look come across her face, and I said, I apologize. I'm just messing with you. I said, if you're still here when I come back, I said, I'm running out of time. If you're still here when I come back, I'll sign it. And I took off. What?
Oh, man.
And my 15-year-old boy was like, Dad, what the heck? You got a man or whatever? And before I was at the end of the block, I had 3 more between women's reproductive rights. And the last 2 were did you sign a petition regarding early childhood? Do you hear that? Early childhood learning.
What's that about?
There's probably some money somewhere that you're trying to compete with to flush more money down the inner city public school curriculum. You know what I mean?
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Missouri.
So, I think part of it is they're going to kill see, right now, Missouri's got a thing where if you get 250,000 signatures, I think is what it is, you can get something as a constitutional amendment, and then they can vote on it. And that's how we just approved for marijuana and a whole bunch of screwball stuff, right? So the legislature is wanting to say, we're going to quit doing that. You've got to come to the legislature and get something on the ballot because we can't trust you people to make the right decisions. But
you mean the people? You mean the voting public of Missouri? They can't trust them to make the right decisions.
Well, it's just not Missouri, buddy. I hate to tell you that, but the whole country's, let's not even. We're not going to turn this into a political show right now. But
no,
I think prima facie evidence of this country's inability to make correct decisions at the representative level is just apparent, right? It should be very apparent to anybody with half of.
Oh, you're saying they don't want to put it in voters' hands. They want to put it in the state representatives' hands to make it.
Yes, which ain't any better than the voters' hands.
But that's
just one way. This is the problem.
Democracy.
If they put it in the voters' hands, stuff gets voted on without paying the lobbyist. You got to put it in the legislature's hands so the right wheels get greased. See, one way they make a lot of money, and one way they don't make as much. That's what it's all about. But whatever.
I get it. I hope everybody's following along the tongue in cheek of where you were going with that, and they weren't really. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you. I hate to tell you this, but this show, is for a highbrow audience. This is you got to have a brain to listen to my show, right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's probably why our listenership is more limited than the average, night show or whatever. When I listen to some of those people, and I don't want to throw stones here, but they have tons of writers and tons of rehearsal and whatever to do a little 45-minute show or an hour show.
Lots of research.
Yes, where we're able to just throw it together, and our core audience rides with us, through thick and thin.
Well, speaking of that, I had the pleasure. So one of our listeners reached out to me the other night. She has a paranormal story she's going to come on and share. Okay. And this kind of ties in because something she said ties into another story the judge told me yesterday that brought tears to my eyes, crying with laughter. But so Lindsay from Idaho got a hold of me, and I called her just to talk about a little bit about her experience yesterday as I was driving to my weekend basketball, the travel basketball. And it's super nice lady, crazy story, it'll be interesting when we do it and share it with everybody. But then she got to tell me that she listens. So she used to be in corrections, and she listens to us now. I don't think she's still in corrections. I'm not sure, but listens to us while we're at work and wherever it is she's working. And she just said that she enjoys our show, our part of the show so much, the paranormal too, but our part of the show so much that that people have asked her why she's laughing while she's listening with her headphones, and then she turns them on to our show. To
Oh,
us
I
too.
thought when you said she turned them on, I was like, what's she wearing? You know?
No, she did say it.
Oh,
She did say that. But
okay.
it was really nice to hear firsthand from somebody, and then have her kind of talk about, appreciating our sense of humor, how we present stuff, appreciate your your storytelling ability. And I wish I could record that and let you hear it firsthand, because I think
It
you'd
doesn't. I don't need
it
to.
could
I
make
hear
you,
from you.
you hear from, okay,
Yeah.
make you feel good.
You know.
But what
Mhm.
she, but what she, so she was describing what was going on at their house. She made a reference, and this is what is funny now that I think about it. She made a reference to the Amityville Horror. Amityville Horror. Remember
She
that
said her
whole,
house is like an Amityville horror.
the one she grew up in was
Oh,
similar,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
in which how
I
they
never
present.
saw it, but I kind of know what it's about.
Okay, well they presented that story back in the 70s, that the house affected the people in it. It had a made them not so nice. You know what I'm saying? It
Uh
kind
huh.
of it kind of drug them down a little bit. Well, so we were talking a little bit about that, and I don't often get you don't hear Amityville Horror getting referenced in this day and age. So it was funny that she had said that to me, and then as the judge and I were driving home last night, we called each other to kind of commiserate about how our teams did, and he brought up a story about his mom. Now his mom was one of those seven. When we grew up in the 70s, she was a bigger, heavy set, tough woman, just a gravelly voice from smoking, and she drank Jack Daniels and stuff. She was no nonsense, okay? But him and his brother, because his brother's a judge, they've always been kind of Weisenheimers, for lack of a better term, okay? They were just little a-holes, is how the judge put it. And
Typical
so,
lawyers. Yeah.
yeah, but this is when they're in school. And so he says, I remember my mom, because we weren't even talking about the Amityville Horror. I brought up, we were talking about Josh Brolin, and brought up James Brolin, and I said, what all was he in? And he goes, hey, the Amityville Horror. He goes, so I remember my mom made me and my brother sit on the couch. She had seen the Amityville Horror movie, okay, and she's
This
like,
is Judge saying his mother made
this
him
is the
watch it.
judge saying that, as when we would have been teenagers, okay,
Yep.
she made him and his brother sit on the couch with her and watch this movie, because she told him it was just so scary and frightening that she just didn't want to watch it alone, and she thought they'd appreciate how scary it was. And so the judge said his brother, Sean, the first time James Brolin appeared on the screen, started screaming and yelling, going, "Oh my God! Oh
I've
my
never
God!"
seen it. Does it look fake, or what
No,
does it look
no.
like?
But the point is that his brother then just started screaming bloody murder as a joke, that James Brolin was the reason the movie was so scary.
Right?
And so every time he appeared on screen, he just, oh my God, it's so scary. And finally, he said his mom got so mad, she just cussed and swore at him, told him to get out of the living room. She was done watching the movie with him. But
And
he
he
said
said, "Well,
that's the kind.
I'm here because you, Mom."
But he said that's the kind of little a-holes they were. Is that so? Rather than screaming at the scary parts, they pretended that James Brolin appearing on screen was the real scary, was the real scary part. And I thought that was, I mean, he had me in tears telling me that story, because I can imagine his mom yelling and screaming, and his brother, playing up the fact that James Brolin was so scary. But
Is he still?
James Brolin played the dad in the
Is he
Amityville.
still alive?
I think he has to be, doesn't he? I don't know.
Well, I don't think anybody necessarily has to be alive, do they? I mean, the
Well,
older I get, the more I'm finding that out.
well, they should be alive, but I mean, it came up because I heard a really good conversation with Josh
I
Brolin,
gotta have a cough button here. Go ahead. Keep
just
talking.
with Josh Brolin, and he was talking about how he was on the verge of losing his house, and it was going to be, it was going to be foreclosed upon.
Oh, I never
And
heard that.
Yeah, he's going to be James Brolin is still alive. He is 83 years old.
There you go.
How about that? But
Go back to Josh.
it was going to be foreclosed upon, and I don't remember at what time period this was, but he was already, I mean, he was a star of some magnitude from the time he was a kid. And he got, I don't remember the part they said, but he got the check, and he looked at it and he pulled it out, and he goes, "Oh my God, $60,000 check. This is amazing. I'm going to be able to save my house, keep my house and keep living." And then he looked at it again, and the check was for $600,000. And so that completely pivoted his life around to
more cocaine and liquor.
Well, I don't know about that, but
that's what he said on the Marin podcast. He talks all about it.
But this was after that, I think.
This is when, right around the time, because he was one of those guys that hung out with Joaquin Phoenix's brother down to Viper Room.
River.
Yeah, he was of that. You know what's funny is my youngest boy loves No Country for Old Men.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And when he was little, they loved the Goonies. So the other day the Goonies came on, and my wife jokingly said, "Let's watch the Goonies." So she turned the Goonies on. And, there's that first scene. There's the first couple scenes. Well, then you get in that house, and he's lifting weights. And I told my son, I said, "Hey, that's the guy from No Country for Old Men." "No, it's not." And then we got to watch it for 10 or 15 minutes. And then finally he's like, "You're right, it is." But he's so young. I said, "Well, yeah, they made movies when they're kids, and now they make movies as adults."
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great. And I actually met somebody the other day, is somebody I'm going to do some writing with, and she had never seen the Goonies. I'm like, she had seen the Goonies once, but she had never seen the Sandlot. Because this project we're working on is a kind of a combination Goonies meets the Sandlot. And I'm like, how have you never seen the Sandlot? I mean, to me, I look at that.
That's because you're near Cooperstown, or where's the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Cooperstown, but I'm not near Cooperstown.
In Cooperstown in Ohio?
No, it's in New York.
It's all the same. You get east of the Mississippi, all them rinky-dink states are like counties out west here.
Well, the Canton, the Pro Football Hall of Fame's here.
That was it, Canton.
That's what I thought. I thought when you came
and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
In Cleveland. I thought when you brought your son to Monster Fest, you guys could go up to the Canton, take him to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Is that why he says? Who says that in Cleveland? Is that Huey Lewis? What's that song in Cleveland?
Oh, yeah. The Heart of Rock and Roll.
Is that why he says Cleveland? I was wondering why he said Cleveland. Is that why he says it?
He says Cleveland because Alan Freed was a DJ in Cleveland, and he supposedly coined the term rock and roll. He was the first one to do it, and it's when he was a DJ in Cleveland. So then they, kind of give Cleveland as the birthplace of rock and roll, mainly based on the fact that Alan Freed called music rock and roll, or whatever the type of music that was being played that they called it. Which, I think that people argue that Little Richard was the first person to play real rock and roll, and then it went from there. Some people might argue. I don't know. He seemed like he was rocking to me, though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what else are we talking about? What's happening in the news? Did I get any hate mail, fan mail?
Haven't got any hate mail. I mean, like I said, I talked to the fan. I'll tell you what is happening is our little fourth grade travel team won a game today, the first game in their tournament, and they were so excited. The parents are so excited. It was awesome. It was awesome.
You say the parish is a good Catholic team?
No, the parents.
Oh, I thought you said the parish. I was going to see if you could get the Padre to pray for us or something.
No,
I got my headset on. I'm not hearing too good today. I don't know. Need to up the production budget here or something.
No,
that I'm going further deaf.
The parents were happy, and so then they ended up losing in a championship game, and this is something else that made my day, is that that the guy handed me a big bundle of medals.
Oh, I thought you were going to say money. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking
No.
about.
No, I haven't got that. We don't get paid back. But he handed me this big package of medals for the kids. Okay. So I give it to the guy who coaches the fourth grade team because I just went to help him. And he starts handing them out. And the daughter, his daughter plays on the team. She goes, hey, there's 3 medals left. What are we going to do with these? And I said, well, and I don't know. Have I ever told the story about Todd wearing the medal to the movie?
No, what kind of medal? Like a kid's medal from fourth grade basketball?
I've never told God. So anyway, so I said, hey, you're going to take one of those and you're going to give it to Coach Todd at practice on Tuesday. And her dad kind of looks at me and he goes, why is that? And I go, you've never heard that Todd wore a medal to the movies story? And he's like, I haven't. So I proceeded to tell him. So here's the story. I don't know if I've told it before. If I have, it's been 100 episodes ago. But this is an infamous story around all of us guys in the county. So I was a junior in high school, and I was at our town had like a little 2-screen movie theater. Okay, and the girl I was dating at the time, she and I were standing in line for the movies. And out comes Todd, who was out on a date with a girl that we all considered the best looking girl in high school. She was a super sweet, best looking girl in high school. Okay. And he's walking out with her. And I believe the movies it was the Three Amigos. Okay. That's the movie.
Great movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. And as Todd walks by, I notice he is wearing this great big medal around his neck that's bouncing off his chest. Okay. And I look at the girl that I'm with and I said, did you see that? That he's wearing a medal like it was just weird. And she goes, yeah, what's that all about? So fast forward, I get to basketball practice the next day, and I tell the judge and I'm like, hey man, Redmond was at the movies. He had this medal on his neck, and they just can't believe it because that's just weird, like
I don't know if he bagged the best looking girl in school. Maybe you guys should take notes. But keep going. Tell me how cool you are.
But he didn't. But he did because she sat by me in class, and I'm not going to say her name.
Oh, and you started railing on him. You started blowing his candle out to make yours look brighter. I can see what's going on. So go ahead.
Mine was already
out of little teenage jealousy. Go ahead and tell me how you started torpedoing your buddy, who's working his ass off on the trash route. Go ahead.
Not that. So anyway, so I say to her, I said, how did that date go with Todd wearing that medal? And she said, it was just, it's kind of weird. And she goes, it didn't make for much of a good night kiss. That's what she said. So we didn't really rag on him too much. Okay. But we just, amongst all of us guys, I don't even think we even said anything to him at the time, but we just were like, unbelievable. He wore this. And so what it was he was the strongest guy in his weight class in high school in powerlifting, and he had won the state championship the week before in powerlifting.
And he forgot to take it off. That's what I told. I forgot to take it off.
He forgot to take it off. So he's wearing. So fast forward 30 years, okay, and me and the judge, and Todd all coach basketball together, and here comes these tournaments and they hand out medals, and so we start teasing him about wearing a medal to the movies, and of course he denies it. He denies that never happened. I can't believe you guys would say that. So another one of our guys Coach Thompson, is standing with us, and he hears us talk. Now he was from the next county over, okay, or the next county south of us when he was in high school, and he stops us. And he says, "Wait a second, what are you guys talking about?" We're like, oh, Redmond, when we were in high school, he wore this medal on his chest to the movies with this girl. And he
said,
goes,
I'm married to her.
no,
Oh.
we know who she's married to. He goes, you mean that's real? I go, what do you mean that's real? And he goes, I heard about that when I was in high school down in Marion County. Because I heard about that. Because I thought that couldn't possibly be real. Who's the guy that would wear a medal to the movies with the best looking girl in school?
Hey, it sounds like to me he was 2 decades or 3 decades before, because you watch this TV now and these clowns got all kinds of shit hanging from their necks, hubcaps and big clocks and all kinds of stuff.
He was Flavor Flav before.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He was like vanilla flavor.
So the girl, the woman, actually yesterday was her birthday. I had to wish her happy birthday. So she will neither confirm nor deny whether or not she remembers him wearing.
What do you mean you wished her happy birthday? You're newlywed. You can't be wishing no people happy birthday.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? You wish your friends happy birthday? What do you
I don't have any female friends.
Oh gosh. Anyway, I guess your wife is spoiled. Good grief.
No,
anyway.
She doesn't listen to this. I'm having a cardiac cough. I developed this cough a couple weeks ago. I can't get rid of it, so it's probably a bad heart valve or something.
So needless to say, the lady will not confirm or deny that he wore the medal. He vehemently denies it, although he has come up with a cover story that he claims is the real reason there was a medal. That if there was a medal around his neck, that it was there. But
hey, he earned it. What's the matter?
I know, but look, it was a teenage thing, and it's something good to tease him about. But anyway, either way, before this episode comes out, he's getting another medal to wear from the 4th grade basketball team.
And I hope he rocks it. I hope he wears it every day, man. Because, you be you, right?
That's right. Hey, look, he's one of my best friends. I love him to death. And he's a good sport about us teasing him about that. But, hey, if you're going to wear a medal to the movies, beware. Your teenage buddies are gonna tease you about it for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.